Okay, so I've cleaned up the pipe around where I'm going to weld. Got a back purge just set up in there. I'm just using foil because that's all I got, so that's what I'm going to use. Got it running at quite a low sort of volume there. It's about, what, 3 litres a minute, so I might turn it down a little bit. It's been running for a while. It's difficult to balance just right, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's probably just about had enough time purging now, so let's see if I can get some weld on there. Got a first pipe welded up. The welds were getting better as I was going, but definitely still a lot more practice on what's going on here. But one thing I did change, I still got a bit of tin foil to block up one of the ends, which is enough room for the gas to escape. For this side, I just shaved down a lump of wood to fit inside there, because every time I moved the pipe to get a better welding angle, the foil would just fall out, so it was just no good. So yeah, just took a bit of wood up there, a hole in the middle, and then I was using that to purge it. So yeah, by the time I finish the last pipe, hopefully it might even look half decent. But yeah, oh well, keep going. I always grind them down, make them look a little bit better if needs be. I thought I'd just have a little look inside the pipe just to make sure this back purging works, and hopefully you can see in there how the welds come through. No sugar in or anything like that. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this one a bit dark in there. But yeah, no sugar in. So obviously the back purge setup is working. So I'm happy with that. I'll crack on with the other 3 pipes now and get them all welded up. There's 4 runners all welded up. Just gotta wait for them to cool right down now. Might just fill them with water or something, see if I've got any pinhole leaks or anything like that. I just need to then clean up and finish welding the collector. I got a new flange as well to use, and I've absolutely smashed in the argon, so I'm probably going to need some more of that before it comes to actually welding the manifold onto the flange. But let's get this cleaned up and then worry about that problem after that. So that's all the runners welded onto the collector. Absolute pig of a job. I haven't done it before, and I think I've jumped in at the deep end, all I can say. I've not welded stainless, not really used the TIG much, apart from a little bit of aluminium welding. This is completely different. Trying to get the torch into all of these nooks and crannies, absolute nightmare. But yeah, it's together. There's no holes in it. It's definitely overheated in places, but I'm just going to put it down to a learning experience. So if I need to make another one, then I know where to look for, or how to do it better next time. So all I need to do is weld the head flange on. It's only just tacked on there at the minute. I'm just going to get a bit of thick metal to use as like a heat soak, just to help stop it warping. I was going to use this steel plate. I was just using this steel plate as like a makeshift sort of welding table, really, so I can clip the earth to it and weld my pieces on there. But it's not flat as it is. It's a little bit warped anyway, a little bit of a bow in it, so if I try to bolt this down and weld it, it's probably going to end up with a bow. So I might as well start with a straight bit and go from there. Yeah, so when that's welded on, I can get it fitted to the car, get the turbo on there, and then look at both the downpipe and the wastegate fitment. The wastegate's probably just going to come out of the collector here, as long as there's enough space. We'll see. Okay, with the turbo bolted on, space obviously is tight. I knew it was going to be, and I can just about fit my original wastegate back there. But what I'm going to do is have a little bit of do a bit of research and see if there's a smaller profile wastegate that I can use. because yeah, I can get this one in, but the spaces are just really tight. So if I get it in there, just resting in there, it's on the collector down there, it's touching the top. Now obviously you can get some wastegates with the ports come out the side, obviously getting a little bit more clearance, so I've got a little bit of room I can wiggle it with. If I can get a slightly smaller diameter of dome, that should work. Now, so what I'm going to do in the meantime, while I'm doing a bit of research on that, is I'm going to look at completing off this heater box and probably making some like heat shielding for all the pipe works. This clutch pipe here is just plastic, so I'll get that all fixed up. Probably get some heat material to go around it as well as maybe a shield or something to cover the whole lot up. Making even less space, but obviously don't want anything catching on fire, burning through, or anything like that. So yeah, so we're going to leave it for now. Well, that escalated. So I got the engine out. Essentially what I was having a problem with was clearance for a lot of the exhaust system. So what I'm going to do is rework some of this pipe work, neaten that up. Now I've got the space and got it out, I'm going to chop back some of this box section, just to give myself, there's probably going to be a good 20-30 mil I can gain out of that, no problem. So I'm going to cut that section out and then fill it back in to give the strength back. As I say, tidy up some of the pipe work, a few little odd jobs that's now easier with the engine removed. Get a lot of heat sort of tape material, fill in over a lot of the areas like the master cylinders, servo, that kind of stuff. I'll see if I can get another shield to make up as well. But yeah, trying to go forward, and there's 3 steps back. Fast forward several months and this is what I'm left with. So this is essentially the turbo setup. Hopefully a fairly equal length manifold, wastegate 38mm on the side there, and a small exhaust housing. Now it's basically a 3-inch downpipe. To come out, I have routed the wastegate as well back into the exhaust, because I don't want a screamer pipe. It's all quite compact to the engine. It's obviously fit down in behind the engine and the bulkhead. In terms of the bulkhead, I have made a shielding up to across all the brake servo and clutch lines. Got some heat shield that goes right up into the cowling, up underneath here. Like that. And then I've got a clutch line and brake servo line coming out that side. The brake pipes run up underneath there as well to the other side. So hopefully that's going to be good enough for sort of heat management. So yeah, it's getting there. It's taking a lot longer than I anticipated, but that's how these things go. Started making up the boost pipe to go back down to the intercooler. Now, I originally wanted the turbo coming straight down at the bottom, but just space didn't allow it, basically. So it is what it is. This will all be chopped up, with this top unit will be chopped down so it's not so prominent, and essentially it will sit just in front of this strut brace here, so towards the back of the engine bay anyway, not too bad. I've got an oil line, return line made up for the turbo, and it does creep from underneath there down to the turbo drain all I'd need to do is just make a little bracket, probably attach it to the boost pipe maybe, and it will just keep it in the same place, a little P-clip or something just to hold it still. It's obviously coated in like a heat resistant material. So that's all on. I had to skim the flange up on the manifold because it had warped out of shape. So I had to make up a jig. There's a jig that I made up just to bolt it to keep it horizontal while it was being milled. And yeah, so what things I need to do, I got a mount starting off down in the back there, and that's going to tie into or onto the downpipe. And then hopefully with rocking of the engine, things like that, it's going to take out any strain from the rest of the exhaust. Obviously I have got a flexi pipe in there, but at least the amount of strain on sort of the rest of the downpipe all up here, the better. So that needs to be done. I need to get the engine back in to find out where the lambda sensor is going to go, the wideband. I'm hoping I can get it in here somewhere, so relatively close to the turbo, but it's tight here, so it would be about here location. So I need to get the engine back in just to make sure it's going to fit before I weld the bung in. Then the whole lot is going to be cleaned up. I'm going to attempt to do like the ceramic coating, just spray tins that you can buy from the internet. Spray it up and then I'll wrap it as well, because yeah, space is the main problem with this car. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Getting there slowly, but getting there. But hopefully once this manifold is all coated, I can get the engine back into the car for the final time, and then just, well, continue on plugging away. So yeah, next step is making this mount and getting the lambda sensor location sorted. And that's the mount made up. So it's simple, just made it out of the bits and pieces I had left over, just a tag onto the exhaust. You can get the bolt then with a nut welded on, obviously pop through there. So that's just how it all bolts together. Now what I've done is I've made that hole slightly larger than the bolt itself, just to allow for any expansion or movement, or just, well, even just fitment issues. It should be okay. I need to clean this one up, give it a good paint, I think, a bit of protection, and yeah, so that's one little job done. Right, engine back in, hopefully for the last test fit. I've been looking at where I can fit this wideband sensor, and it looks like the little dot I got in there is going to be the best location. So it'll just sit just in there. So it's a little close to the turbo, but can't really get it in down the side here. Well, I can, but I've got more stuff to go in here, like the coolant bottle and bits of pieces and things like that. So to get it back out again afterwards, if I should need to, I don't want to take a whole thing apart just to take the sensor out. So I think it's going to go on the top there and roll with it, I think. I've made sure all the clearances and stuff fit down the back. It's all the wastegate, it's all really tight. You can see down pipes on down the bottom there. I've got to do some other things. I'm going to adjust this boost pipe to try and line them up a bit better, so it's a nice straight loop over into the other pipe, little bits like that. But yeah, that's where we are. So this hopefully is the last test fit that I need before it can be fitted for the final time. Well, it was open anyway. I am tempted to swap this power steering pipe. Power steering pipe runs across the top of the gearbox on these, then down the front up to the bottom of the power steering pump. But that pipe is a pain when it comes to fitting down in the side there. So it's underneath all the gear brackets and things like that. So I'm tempted to change that, but this one works. It fits, it's just a pain. So we'll just see how that goes, see how I feel closer to the time. So yeah, that's where we are. So we're going to take this engine back out again, just using the block there. And yeah, hopefully take it back out, get that bung back welded back in, and that should hopefully be all of the manifold and downpipe assembly all set up and ready for coating, wrapping, things like that. So where it comes out at the bottom here. I'll need to modify my old exhaust to fit onto it, but that should be, in theory, the easy part. So yeah, I'll take this back out and get the bung welded in. Okay, there we go. Wideband, the bung welded in. So that now is basically the exhaust system, or the manifold and downpipe, all done and made. It just needs painting and wrapping, and then it all can be bolted on to the engine for the last time. I just got to do the little niggly bits, oil feeds, water feeds, things like that, get it all mounted, but that will be for another time.